Week 11, day 2. Did you write your goals down? Did you write down the plan to accomplish them? Are you becoming purpose-driven? Are you becoming learning the quality of commitment by writing a plan? Are you becoming selfless? Every time you use the word I in a sentence, you're selfish. What's the small definition of selfless? Mental age. What is your mental age? You're not trying to get older chronologically. You're trying to get older by your mental age. Dependable this week. We're working on the quality of dependability. The story this week is I Knew You Would Come. I love this story. This powerful story comes out of World War I. It is a story of the friendship between two soldiers in the trenches. Two buddies were serving together in the mud and misery of that wretched European stalemate. Month after month, they lived their lives in the trenches, in the cold and the mud, under fire constantly. From time to time, soldiers from one side or the other would rise up out of the trenches, fling their bodies against the opposing line, and slink back to nurse their wounds, bury their dead, and wait to do it all over again. In the process, those soldiers forged friendships in the misery. Day after day, night after night, terror after terror, they talked of life, a family of hopes, of what they would do when and if they returned to home. World War I was a matter of gaining ground. So you had a trench on one side and a trench on the other side, your friends and the enemy. And every once in a while you'd get up and try to gain some more ground. And if you gained that ground, you'd dig another trench and you tried to close it down. It's just like football. You're trying to gain ground. On one more fruitless, I'm reading again, page 67, Character Curriculum, developingcharacter.org. On one more fruitless charge, Jim fell, severely wounded. While his friend Bill made it back to the trenches, Jim laid suffering beneath the night flares, between the trenches, all alone. The shelling continued. The danger was at its peak. Bill knew that between the trenches, in full view of the night flares, was no place to be. Still, Bill wished to reach his friend, to comfort him, to offer what encouragement only friends can offer. The officer in charge refused to let Bill leave the trenches. It was simply too dangerous. As the commander turned his back, however, Bill went over the top, ignoring the smell of cordite in the air, the concussion of incoming rounds, and the pounding in his chest. Bill made it to Jim. Sometime later, he managed to get Jim back to the safety. His friend died shortly after Bill had gotten to him. The somewhat self-righteous officer, seeing Jim's body, cynically asked Bill if it had been worth the risk. Bill's response was without hesitation. Yes, sir, it was, he said. My friend's last words made it more than worth it. He looked up and said to me, I knew you would come. He was able to depend on his friend. Question number 1. Who would come for you? Is there someone that you're able to depend upon that would come for you if you were put in that situation? I'm not talking about death. I'm talking about if you really broke up with your girlfriend and needed somebody to come and talk to you, is there somebody you can depend on? Somebody have the quality of dependability. When you tell somebody something, can they believe it? Can they depend upon it? As I said yesterday, my dad could give his word that he was going to pay the bank back, and he never had to sign anything. Dependability. You could depend on someone, depend on their word to say something. If you say you're going to be somewhere at 9 o'clock, and you show up 15 minutes late and you giggle about it and say, well, I'm always late, you do not have the quality of dependability. Lombardi and the Green Bay Packers were the team in the 60s, the team when I grew up that everybody looked at, and they were the world champions 3 years running, and Lombardi was a legend in his own time. And Lombardi had what he called Green Bay time. And Green Bay time was 15 minutes earlier than anybody else. He was always going to be there 15 minutes early. You respect people that are dependable. You want to add to your self-respect. You want to build up your self-image. Become dependable. Know what it's like. If you say you're going to be there at 9, be there at 8:45. We had a banquet one year and for the girls' track team in Idabel, Oklahoma. That was a proverbial, they had won 22 state championships. The coach was a lady named Sandra Gamble. And they were always one of the, if not the top team in the state of Oklahoma. One of the girls got up to give her memories. Each year we had the seniors get up and give the memories that they had that year. And this girl, a state champion hurdler, got up and she says, "My memory is this. We always got to the track meet before the home team did. We were always early." You know, if you saw a letter from the Idabel track coach that said, "We'll be there on March the 28th," you didn't need to call and double check to see if they were coming. They were dependable. They were known for their dependability. They were going to show up, and they were going to show up with everything they had. Are you dependable? Second question, for whom would you come and why? Who's out there that needs you that you would come for? It should be everybody on your team, everybody in your family, everybody in your church. If you haven't developed that, you need to develop that. That's dependability. The ability, am I able to depend upon you? Are you able to depend upon your friends? If you can't depend upon your friends, they are not friends. Be conscious of what you say and what you do so that people can depend on what you say and what you do. See you tomorrow.